Breaking news is JD's appeal brief in Virginia is in, and it absolutely wrecks AH's argument. See, it points out the cherry picking of items that she did in the courtroom, how she didn't present everything there, and most importantly, how you had experts that agreed with JD, people that were on the scenes, the police. That's right, JD, he may walk away with everything from this. You and I, we're going to talk about that today. Yeah, maybe this is why she deleted her Twitter. She knew this thing was coming. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. So today, JD just dropped a bombshell, a 44-page document. You can check that out right here, telling you how he's going to be appealing that portion of the Virginia decision in which AH won. And remember, the only reason this is being appealed is because she decided to take this stuff to court. He said, I would have let it lie, but hey, since she's going, I'm going to go for broke. Now, at issue here is one statement by Adam Waldman, and JD is arguing that this statement, it was made by Adam Waldman because he believed that this was the truth. He wasn't acting as a mouthpiece for JD. He was saying these things on his own. Listen to this here. Quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set up JD by calling the cops, but the first attempt didn't do the trick. The officers came to the penthouse, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So AH and her friends spilled a little wine, roughed up the place, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and a publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. Now, this appeal makes it clear that this statement, it didn't come up in a vacuum. Essentially, you had context around it. Quote, the April 27th Waldman statement, the sole statement on which the jury found in AH's favor, is contained in a Daily Mail article dated April 27, 2020, with a very long headline. Let's say, the April 27th article describes a recording of a phone call to the police on the night of May 21st, 2016, a date on which AH alleged that JD threw a phone at her and roughed up their apartment at the Eastern Columbia building. Now, this next part is actually very important in my opinion. The April 27th article comments that AH's attorneys say the phone recordings and police department logs, they vindicate AH's account of the final shocking episode of DV she endured before filing the divorce, whereas JD's legal team says that the recording does the precise opposite. However, by raising discrepancies in the various accounts AH and her allies have given of the notorious dust-up. So you'll notice here, it wasn't just Waldman that made comments in this, it was also AH's attorneys that were making comments, but you didn't hear about that in the courtroom. Continuing, it details AH's various allegations about the abuse she claims to have suffered on May 21st, 2016, noting that the DV case ultimately fizzled when the two LAPD officers who responded to the 8:27 p.m. phone call, it names the two that were here, said that they never found any evidence of a crime. And they said that in the courtroom, by the way. So again, the police, they back up the account that JD gave. They back up the account that Adam Waldman gave. But again, you didn't get context in the courtroom. The April 27th article further states that, quote-unquote, JD's lawyer, Adam Waldman, saw through the various discrepancies, proved that nothing AH and her friends said about the events of May 21st, 2016 could be considered credible. It sets out Adam Waldman's purportedly defamatory statement. Now, AH also didn't include every statement from Adam Waldman. Why? Because she knew that those things, they wouldn't play in a courtroom, not in her favor. I mean, listen to this right here. The April 27th article also includes quotes from Adam Waldman that AH did not include in her defamation claim. Quote, but even this didn't have the desired effect because two domestic abuse-trained LAPD police would later provide a pair of sworn depositions saying they saw no evidence of a crime. These lies about who made the calls and when are just the tip of the iceberg, as evidence will show in the court. Now, on top of that, as it goes on to tell you, AH's lawyers, they also participated in this too, making statements aimed at JD. JD, he could have said the same thing AH was saying, with this defaming him, but he didn't. I mean, listen to this here. AH's legal team rejected those allegations as fantasies. Quote, JD's representations about the 911 calls of the night of May 21st, 2016 are false, and JD and his lawyers should know better, said the attorney Roberta Kaplan. All of the evidence, including sworn testimonies from multiple witnesses, phone recordings, police department logs, are consistent with truthful accounts given by, and it says, a witness favorable to AH. Now, this brief goes on to tell you, well, number one, there was evidence provided in the courtroom that backs up all of these statements. And on top of that, Adam Waldman should be able to make such statements. Why? Because he's his own person. He's an independent contractor. As such, he is not a mouthpiece for JD. Now, on top of that is the idea of actual malice, or the fact that Adam Waldman, he made these statements either knowing that they were false or with reckless disregard to whether or not they were false at all. I mean, to do this, too, this is laid out very well. You have, first of all, he has to commit every element of defamation. There has to be the publication of an actionable statement with requisite intent. Now, as far as requisite intent is concerned, a plaintiff who is a public figure, that would be such as AH, must prove that a false and defamatory statement is made with actual malice. Again, it either has to be false or you have to not care at all whether that is false or not. Now, on top of that, you have the argument that if the trial court would have allowed this to be presented in context, they would have allowed the entire article to be presented. You would have seen the other quotes from Adam Waldman, the quotes about the police, the quotes from AH's lawyers, and more. This would have been a different decision, but unfortunately, the trial court, they didn't allow that. They took the statements by themselves, so there was no context. There was just the content. They allowed that to be presented, and that, it seems to change up everything. Now, with this dropping too, and this, it just dropped, I do wonder if this is the reason that AH decided to remove her Twitter account. She knew that when this was presented, when people started talking about it, yeah, she wasn't going to be able to make any leaps or bounds at all. I mean, people, they would be talking about what she did win in the courtroom, which was minuscule at that, and how she may just end up losing it all. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. And as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. We'll go over everything here in a live stream too, but let me know what you think about this. You want to help out the channel as well? Links are in the description. Check those out for sure. But you being here, that is the biggest help of all. Thank you. Appreciate you. See you soon.